So we're going to break down the pricing structure of the new 3-row crossover. Yes, it is. It's a totally different segment than the old Santa Fe, and that's why the pricing is going to be quite a bit different as well. So new Santa Fe, let's get into it. All new Santa Fe starting at $33,950. What's the asterisk? Well, the asterisk, that means it's not including shipping, handling, destination, whatever you want to call it, DHP. That is $1,300. Let's scroll to the bottom. I think it's at the very bottom. $1,395 that you have to tack onto all of the pricing here, which don't worry, guys. I made a spreadsheet, so you don't have to worry about adding it on. I'll do it for you. But before we get into that, this is the starting MSRP of the 2024 model. Look at how much it's jumped from the outgoing model. It's like $5,200 increase year over year from the old model to the redesign. Why is there such a huge increase? Well, it's a totally different vehicle. Like I said, it's going from a 2-row crossover to a 3-row crossover. It's bigger, so it's in a new segment. Also, the starting powertrain is not a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter with, I think it was around 180, 190 horsepower, something like that on this Santa Fe. No. This guy, the new one, is standard with the 2.5 liter turbo engine with 277 horsepower, if I remember correctly off the top of my head, and even more pound-feet of torque. Now it has also an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission, and we also have pricing on the hybrids. The XRT is standard all-wheel drive, to keep you in mind, gives you additional ground clearance and 30-inch all-terrain tires. So without further ado, here is where we're going to break down the pricing. I know the font might be a little small for you guys, so I apologize. But the base model front-wheel drive after destination, a little over $35K. If we want to add all-wheel drive to that base model, it's an $1,800 difference, I think, if I'm looking at it correctly. There's just a few trim levels here. So you go to SE to SEL, limited, and calligraphy. So there's just 4 trim levels, front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. You have your pick. All-wheel drive is going to add $1,800 if I did my quick brain math somewhat well enough. All right, SEL, there's about a $2,500 upgrade from SE to SEL, and I'm not going to break down the differences in trim level. Wait for my driving impressions in March so I can say, hey, you should get this trim level or you should get that trim level, depending on the price and the bang for your buck. Going from the limited to the SEL is a huge jump in price. $7,000 jump in price roughly from SEL to limited, and the calligraphy is a range topping, and that is about a $3,100 increase over the limited model yet. I mean, we're getting pretty close to Genesis numbers at that point. It's also really close to another large 3-row crossover in the lineup, the Hyundai Palisade. That is also interesting. You get a big old V6 with that. You get more interior space, I believe. It just depends, like, do you want the more traditional big crossover body, or do you want this more boxy, more macho looking Santa Fe? I guess you'll have your option. Once you get up to the limited and the calligraphy, that is Palisade numbers. Let me pull up the pricing real quick. I got to drop the mic for that. Yeah, there we go. Starting at $36,600. So it is really interesting how close it is in price to well-equipped 3-row crossover Palisade, as well as the Kia variant, the Telluride. Go ahead and take a look at the all-wheel drive variants here as well. And let's get into the hybrid. Hybrid might be the best choice for you if you want to get to over 30 miles per gallon. We don't have official EPA numbers yet. It's probably going to be in the low 30s. It's the same hybrid powertrain as the outgoing Santa Fe. This one's bigger and heavier. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be quite as quick as a result. I can't find the article right now, but there's talks coming out of Korea on an all-new plug-in hybrid, right? There's no plug-in hybrid of the Santa Fe at launch. Watch my review on this current generation plug-in hybrid Santa Fe. I wasn't the biggest fan. It was really expensive for what it is compared to the normal hybrid. Your efficiency wasn't that impressive. Your range was maybe around 30 miles, which is fine and dandy if it comes in at a low-ish price point. But the problem is that it was heavier than the standard hybrid, and you didn't get any additional performance. It felt just as fast, maybe even slightly slower, because when you throw it in the turns, right, you have that extra weight to it. So apparently Hyundai in the background is working on an all-new plug-in hybrid. I'm hearing 50 miles of range. We'll see, right? That sounds too good to be true, but it's possible, and a lot more power to go with that extra weight that you're carrying around with that plug-in hybrid. How much more money is a Calligraphy hybrid compared to non-hybrid Calligraphy? It's only $500 more. How, there's also not a base hybrid, because the lowest entry level price point is actually the SEL. So SEL to SEL, we have a $38,000 starting price point. So it's really only $500 more, guys, for the hybrid. And you can get front wheel drive now. I don't remember that being an option on the outgoing hybrid. I remember it being all wheel drive only. I could be wrong on that. Maybe only the ones I drove were only all-wheel drive, and maybe there were some front-wheel drive variants. Definitely in Korea, I'm sure they had front-wheel drive variants. If you get the front-wheel drive, that's the way I would be going, unless you live in a really cold climate that you need all-wheel drive or whatever. You have mountains and get all-wheel drive. But I would say get front-wheel drive here, because you're going to reduce a lot of weight for the hybrid to pull around. You don't have that mechanical linkage going to the rear wheels. Now, the turbo 4-cylinder is different, because since you have so much power and torque going to the front wheels, it's a lot more powerful and more torquey than the hybrid setup, for example. Since you have that going just to the front wheels, you're going to be spinning your tires more than likely on the 2.5 front wheel drive. So if you can swing for the all-wheel drive turbo, go for it. And I would recommend a front wheel drive hybrid, unless you live in a where you absolutely need all-wheel drive, of course, then go for it. It's $1,800 though. Let me know if you guys think it's worth that upgrade. Don't know, because you're also going to get worse fuel economy with that mechanical linkage all-wheel drive system. But that's all I have for the Santa Fe. I'm excited to drive it in just a couple months from now. If I hear anything closer to launch about that plug-in hybrid, maybe I'll make another video about it. It sounds very, very tempting and enticing. But the Santa Fe it's hard to compare it to any other vehicle, because it is so much different than the outgoing model, going from a 2-row, a mid-size, to kind of like a 3-row large size. And it makes me wonder, like, what's the point of the Palisade? I know the Palisade's slightly bigger and more heavy duty, right? But it's really occupying a very similar segment. So I'll see you guys talk it out down below. Would you rather have the new Santa Fe and its more rugged, boxy, futuristic / retro, old school, unique looks, or would you rather have the more usable for large families and the Palisade? But I got to shut it down there. Thank you guys for watching. Definitely stay tuned for my Lexus GX driving impressions on February 1st. I'm driving it tomorrow, which is the 25th of January. So I have about a week to work on that coverage to get it out for you guys on the 1st. I'll catch you in the next one. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. Have a good one, and peace.